But another thing, the last thing that I do want to talk about is I don't think people to this point still have wrapped their heads around the fact that Trump was our president and how it happened. I think they still want to sweep it under the rug like it didn't happen. I don't think people realize just how angry and desperate so many people in this country are right now, and how it is getting to a boiling point. And you can only ignore it for so long before Trump was, listen, I'm sure you've met him. I've met him once myself.
No, I've never met him.
I met him. Look, he's very grandiose. He's very much P.T. Barnum.
He's disgusting.
He is.
He's absolutely disgusting. He's a caricature of himself.
He's not as smart as he thinks he is. But
really,
yes, that's true. He totally thinks he's
he's a rocket scientist.
But what you're going to end up having,
remember when he said he was smarter than all the generals?
I totally know more than the generals know, totally more than that. And the truth is, he may not be the brain of what is necessary, but if Biden's administration, if what is happening right now, if we do not see any type of fundamental change, whether it is with a living wage, whether it is with any type of economic program, an infrastructure bill, having a federal jobs guarantee, UBI, even reoccurring checks to backdate all the money that people have lost in the pandemic. I mean, the possibility of an eviction moratorium is so serious that it again is not being talked about. What you're going to get in 2024 is an even worse Trump, because you're going to get somebody who's fully competent. If somebody like Ron DeSantis becomes president of the United States...
Oh, I'm way more worried about Rick Scott than Ron DeSantis.
Rick Scott can't sell himself on the national stage, but Ron DeSantis can. And that, to me, is a very, very serious thing. And Ron DeSantis has zero Fs to give. He really does. And that is the thing that I still think people underestimate when it comes to, especially independent voters. They like a person who doesn't give a damn, who is just going to do what they're say what they're going to do and do what they say. And that, to me, is still, especially on the left, is really underestimated. They really don't understand that unless we have serious infrastructural change, it's only going to get worse. And that's why people on the left have to stop with this whole, if you're not perfectly aligned with where I stand, this is not going to work.
It just weakens us. That's
all you can't. And I think that's one of the best ways to wrap. If you can talk about that, how the evolution of Trump is still being underestimated, how it could potentially get even worse, and why it really is of such importance to coalesce right now.
Well, the first thing I want to say is that I agree with you 100%. I think that the economic rage and despair of millions and millions of people is what elected Trump to begin with. There were only two people in 2016 who validated people's pain, who validated their rage, even saw their rage, and said, yes, you're getting screwed by the system, Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump. And that populist cry of despair was going to make itself heard, either through an authoritarian populist or through a progressive populist. And as we know, the Democratic Party suppressed the progressive populist. And I think that Hillary's message of let's just continue the success that we've had for the last 8 years fell as such an insult to so many people. Not that she didn't care about their pain, I think she did, but her message was so off tune with millions of people saying, what are you talking about, lady? I'm drowning here. And I think you're right, Peter, they're drowning now. And I think that if the Democrats really wanted to hold the House and the Senate and increase their hold on the House and Senate in 2022, they would have given $2,000 a month checks until the pandemic was over, and retroactively, easy, done, we won. And the reason I say the $2,000 checks even more than the various things that you just mentioned is because of the visceral impact it has on people in their lives every single day. This incremental approach, what Biden is doing and some of what he's doing is good, but even with what he's doing that's good, even where it's good, my fear is that it's too little, too slow, and too late. And it has no impact on people's lives in a way that will make them not just search for something that might be different in 2022. I agree with you. I think that's really all I can say is I agree with you. And I think that so many of us like both of you, who are yelling, you've got to change this, you've got to just end the filibuster, you've got to give the $15 an hour minimum wage, you've got to give these stimulus checks. But when they would sit there, it should it be $1,200, should be $2,000. Give the fucking $2,000 and give it now. Do you realize what people are going through? And now, and we're saying that with such upset for two reasons. Number one, because people are hurting. But number two, because this is the way to lose in 2022.
Yeah.
And if you lose in 2022, for all the reasons that you guys have been talking about with Florida, et cetera, we're going to have such a hard time in 24. Yes. And also, as you guys have been talking about so well all throughout this program, what we could have in 24 is another Trump, but an even smarter one. Oh, and then our democracy is...
Yeah.
I'm only looking at two things in 2022. If the Democrats lose the House and the Senate, and if Ron DeSantis is reelected, he is the next president of the United States. I'm calling it. So I know people don't want to hear.
Prophetic.
Well,
like
hey, listen. You know what? I did say Trump was going to win long before a lot of other people thought he would.
Marianne,
thank you. It's been nothing but a pleasure.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.